Mike's Daily Podcast.
This is an absolute pleasure to be here today, recording with you a podcast that is entitled
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I am your host, Dramatic Mike. Dramatic Mike, I talk to you about things like this and that and the like. And I'm so happy to say that every day I say yay because I am loving it.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I am loving it so much. I can't even tell you. Once again, the show is called
Daily
Frank's Podcast. Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yeah!
And this has been great. This introduction. Probably the best one I've ever done. We've been very good this week with bringing you the podcast every single day. And I think you need it in the stressful world in which we live where things are crazy. But you know, you're doing really well considering, right? All these things that go on in these times. I think I'm going to record a little dooha. Hey, everybody, I'm Mike Matthews. There's a skeleton over here. And it's Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valleymont, the last place on earth. My head is shiny. There you go. That sums it all up. I think that's all we'll do for that particular video. You can see that at mikesdailypodcast.com or at youtube.com/mikesdailypodcast. Well, the guy James Randi died. He was a magician whose many TV appearances led him to a second career as a respected paranormal investigator. He's died at the age of 92 due to age-related causes. He did... What was some of the things he disproved? Let's see.
And here's today's podcast picture.
He formed the Committee for the Scientific Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal. So he disproved a lot of people. Penn Jillette posted a picture on Twitter of Penn and Teller. The last picture of me and Randy. I can't type through the tears. This will be a hard day of making TV. I love you, Randy. You invented us. Aw. All right, the podcast picture today is of my lovely lady friend and I. About a year ago, yes, it's a year ago picture, and we had Fred the skeleton up. And Basil the boxer was there. It was a fun time. Oh, a friend of mine who does not listen to the podcast that much actually listened to the last show where I eulogized a little bit over, was it Tony Lewis, who passed away from the band The Outfield? And she listened to the podcast, did not know that Basil had passed away, and she said she was very sad. Yeah. Yes. You know, the thing is I didn't want to publicize it on Facebook. A lot of I just can't do that. Social media, no. I'm not going to publicize that my good friend Basil has left us. But I will talk about it on the podcast because this is something near and dear. And you hear Basil on every podcast, so I felt it was fitting to talk about it on here. And why this friend of mine, it's kind of weird to, hey, I'm going to call you up and tell you about that kind of thing. I guess, I don't know, with me, it just felt weird. So whether it is weird, in fact, who knows? But I can tell you that tomorrow it's going to be a mess.
A mess. It's a mess.
It's going to be a mess for the wonderful debate, the last debate.
Yep.
The very last one. Thank goodness we'll wrap it up and we'll see who does a good job tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to watching it or listening to it, but it has to be, I guess we have to acknowledge it in some way. Public transportation is awful in the Bay Area. Absolutely terrible.
That's terrible.
Really bad. And I don't know what to tell you. I used to love to be on Bart. I used to have...
Are you out of your mind?
I am, for wanting to ride on Bart. Now I can't do it. I'm so thankful that I don't have to do it, that I have an automobile that will allow me to drive to and from work and avoid just the idiocy that happens. That's me driving my car on Bart. I swear, I don't even have that many stops. Just got about 4 stations, maybe 3 stations I have to go through, and I would still end up being 2 hours late because there'd be some craziness happening at a station, and they'd say, "Oh, we can't send any more cars through, so we'll send a bus to pick you up," and then the bus never shows up. It's terrible in the Bay Area. Absolutely awful. And you know what? The alternative is driving, and that's not any better, because then we all end up driving and we all create traffic. There just needs a lot of work needs to be done as far as that is concerned. But just want to tell you that I am thankful that I have a car, and I'm thankful that my hours are as such that I don't really run into too much traffic. Although I think it was yesterday I drove to work. I had to be at work by 11, so I'm driving in the 10 o'clock hour traffic, and it was ridiculous. Even at 10 o'clock, the rush hour should be done by then, but everybody was on the roads. Quite annoying. So, to sum up, I do miss riding on Bart, though. I miss walking to Bart and walking home from Bart. It was good exercise. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. I miss that walking. And, I know there's the whole coronavirus thing happening and people don't want to be on Bart. That's another reason why. Okay, so here's what I don't understand about Bart. If I may, Bay Area Rapid Transit, for those of you outside the area, the Bay Area. First off, they constantly increase the rates to ride Bart. The fees go up every year. It's every year. We're paying more. And then they don't do anything to protect the passengers. The passengers that are paying passengers that get on Bart, that are good law-abiding citizens, as a certain superhero once said. Or was it the other guy that said that? No. That one. Maybe it was that one instead. Okay. That guy. Well, the point is that okay, so if you are a person that doesn't want to hurt anybody, that doesn't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, that just wants to get from point A to point B and have a nice, calm, enjoyable ride, you should be the target person that Bart wants on their trains. They should bend over backwards to get you on those trains. Instead, they allow all kinds of riffraff. There, I used a word that I don't even think anybody uses anymore.
I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy like that. You know what I mean?
Riffraff. That was from that other movie. That one. Oh, and I can't even find Mongo Likes Candy. Shoot. Oh well. I have lost the... that's the end of the show, everybody.
It's a nightmare of a show.
Anyway, I used to have that from Blazing Sandals. Anyway, Cafe Anyway, what we have is... So, the riffraff is allowed to ride on Bart. And is allowed to patronize. They don't even patronize. They walk right through. They don't even. They go through. There is a door at every single BART station that allows you to just push it open and go through and not even pay. And everybody else has to pay, but you just have to. You can just. Yeah, you just push it open and you walk right in, and you don't have to pay. And that's what they got at BART. So they allow that to happen. So then riffraff is allowed to it's allowed to be on the BART cafe anyway. So what is the matter with you, BART? Is what I'm asking. Because you increase the fees, you allow riffraff on, you allow people that are on that are going to tear apart seats or pee in the cars. That has happened. Yes. I know. You allow people to not pay, get on, and just treat it like it's like BART is just this, I'm going to just tear it apart, even though they probably would not do the same thing. Let's say they have a nice car sitting in the BART parking lot. They're not going to do that. They're going to rip apart the seats. They're not going to, smash stuff up in their house. Anywho. All kinds of reasons not to ride BART anymore. And of course the coronavirus doesn't help at all either. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to expose myself to all kinds of diseases. Heck no. So all of that to say, there is no reason to have BART at this point. The Bay Area needs to just tear it all out and start over, because it has just gotten terrible. And in every year, if you pay, I went a little Bill O'Reilly there, and every year, I kind of went more like Jimmy Stewart, right? Every year you have to pay more and more in property taxes or sales tax or whatever tax you pay. There's a huge chunk of that goes to BART, and they don't do anything about it. They don't help it at all. So it's just, terrible. That's terrible, and that's all I got to say. So, did I mention I watched the Rush movie the other day? The movie about Rush, the band. How awesome that band is, or was now. They will not continue on without Neil Peart. That's just not going to happen. Oh, my lovely lady friend didn't really even know that much about him, about the fact that they basically were going to get dropped by the label, and they said, well, instead of kowtowing to what the label wants, let's just do 2112. Huge, long pieces of rock that were just awe-inspiring to the rock fan. And I know this guy who says, yeah, Rush, isn't that the one with the drummer who's in a cage and he goes upside down? No, that's Motley Crue, not Rush. Neil Peart never was in a cage and turned upside down. No, he was just an amazing drummer, and don't even talk about him like that. So, awesome. And we also watched last night the one about John Coltrane. And that's another artist that right about the time the label was, or, people in the music industry was saying, just keep giving us more of what you're doing that people like. He went a completely different direction. And everybody was, whoa! Okay, we'll follow you into that.
Whoa.
No, a lot of people didn't. And they gave up on John Coltrane, but yet he is a legend now. So, that's all I got to say. Hey, we're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. Look who's here. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How doing? I brought my horse today.
That's a disgruntled fiddle player telling you what.
What?
You really hate Bart, don't you?
I mean, I'm sure Bart's a wonderful guy. I know this guy doesn't care for him much.
Go!
But, yeah. No, it needs work. It needs a lot of work. Look who else is here.
Oh, I'm coming to the list root beer. Have some right now.
Yay. I can't wait to have some of the root beer that you're pouring. There we go.
Yeah, drink it right now. I'll cut you.
Oh, no. Don't do that. That's... And look who else is here.
Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floor Man.
It's so good to have you on the show. You know what we're going to do?
What, Mike?
We're going to have you on every single show.
I can't wait to be on every single show, Mike. I like talking on your show, Mike, because I'm Floyd the Floor Man.
Excellent. See, isn't that wonderful? Isn't he great?
What you talking about, fool?
He's the best. He's the best.
Thanks, Mike. That's really not necessary. I'm going to keep sweeping the floor.
No, you're going to stand right by me. And we're going to talk some more because you are the best.
Mike, I was actually going to play a little bit of golf.
But you know what? You talk wonderful.
Thanks, Mike.
I like the way you say that.
Thank you. I'm loving it. Mike, I'm going to keep sweeping the floors outside a cafe anyway because I'm Floyd the Floor Man.
Excellent. He's going to sweep now a little bit more here at Cafe Anyway. Cafe Anyway. And that's the end of the show. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley, and probably Floyd the Floor Man.
I can't wait to come back.
Excellent. If you want to call and tell us what you think about any of this, you can call me at 336-MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily is in what this podcast tries to be.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is. And, I figured out the other day. Why do I even tell you when I didn't do a podcast the other day? Because you don't know. Some of you listen to this show like all at once. Like you'll listen to 6 of them at once. And you don't know if I missed a day. I guess you could look at the date. Oh, I guess that would give it away. But most of you don't, because you're busy. You've got your lives. Maybe you're going crazy up at the lake.
Geez, I'm going crazy out there at the lake.
Oh, and don't forget that when you meet someone who could possibly be a good network, somebody who could help you with networking and get you to the next level in your career or your life or whatever, don't forget to follow up. You need to follow up within 24 hours or they won't remember you. There you go. That was my little parting piece of excellent advice. Thank you for listening to episode 2143. 2143.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.